All right, this is the Monday Mixer. It's the 19th of August. I'm spectating this one. I'm not able to race expecting calls. I'm going to have to actually mute my commentary mid-race. I apologize if so. But I think I'm going to be at least watch the race and comment. I wish I was there. It's going to be a good one with a lot of really good riders, including a lot of my team. Let's go over it. This is the Monday Mixer weekly race that Ludwig puts on. It's become quite popular. Attracts a lot of the top racers in the European evening slot. You'll see some today. Today it's the Midloops East course. It's a fairly new one. It's familiar roads, but just mixed differently, so we get more elements of the familiar course features we've had. It's a nice punchy type course. I'd say overall punchy courses in IndieVelo are the most popular. The real flat courses you don't see people using all that much. They can, for a little duller racing, punchy courses like this make for very dynamic racing, which is great. So it starts on top of the velodrome. After half a lap, you go down the velodrome hill to the coast. And then you go to the South Lake area where you hit a couple of real punchy steep climbs. Those will fracture the peloton. There are bots in this one. It's wide ability range matchmaking, so there'll be about 4 pens, and you'll be grouped according to your performance and give everybody at whatever level good competitive racing. They've had good racing in pen 1 and pen 2 particularly lately. Back over the pelodrome, and then just start over again, come back over, and this time the race finishes partway up that second climb, or at near the top of it. I guess it's the very top. We'll get a look at that as we go. It's tier 1, which means you need a smart trainer, cadence sensor, heart rate monitor, and has performance verification live turned on, so anybody with an uncalibrated trainer or technical issues, HRM dropping out, would be eliminated from the race to keep it fair. Okay, let me go back now, and we'll get you up in the pen, and then we'll look at the riders. Again, I normally I'd be racing, but I'm just going to spectate this today, see my teammates. Particularly, I'll be focusing on the Race 3R squad, which is my team. Okay, I turned chat off today just to keep those private in case they're team messages. So we won't be seeing the chat. But normally riders would that are in. Let's look. We've got a minute before the race, the pens close. There's some new. I don't even recognize a couple of the first people. Looking at Ben a bit ago here, he's a very strong rider with good solid platinum rankings. He's done quite a bit of racing already. Gotten pretty far in a short period of time. So he's one to watch. I don't know, Mick Ernie with Coalition. He looks like he's new to the platform. We don't know that. He could be very good, just new, so we don't know his ranking yet. Oh, great. Jan, Kurt, everybody is in there. There's a few new guys. Daniel, I don't know. So you'll want to watch. I'll highlight the people to watch for. There's my team. I'm still listed. I won't be racing. The Race 3R guys, good strong presence. Well done, guys. Joe Webb did real well last week. He's a new guy to watch for. There are several new names I don't even recognize here. That's pretty exciting. So we don't know how they'll perform, but we'll keep an eye on it. Okay, let's get back in. So I missed the beginning. This is pen 3. Interesting. Didn't put me in pen 1 where thought I would end up. So I haven't seen pen 3. We'll see. There's Robert Gilmour. He'll be racing. Jan is in there. He hosts the ECKD races. I haven't seen a pen 3 race, so this will be interesting. A lot of bots in there. All right, 16 seconds to the start. See how they do. There's Robert. There's Jan. Let's move up to Jan and keep an eye on him for a little bit. If I can find him in the pack. hard to capture him. He's moving with the back, so it's hard to latch onto the right guy. So it goes down the hill, velodrome hill. There's no point in attacking here. It's really hard to break away. There's some breaking corners that make it, you can push really hard and you'll get braked, and then the path just kind of closes on you. So I always just sit in here. It's kind of a nice warm up in a way. You can see the numbers turning kind of blue or purple with my colors set up. That's those are braking corners, so you can't go faster than physics would allow you to in real life. So no matter how hard you're pedaling, you're going to be slowed. So you learn to back off a little bit into corners. It's one of the racecraft skills that IndieVelo has. So there are 50 racers in this. There are at least two between Robert and Jan, or the humans that I'm aware of, but there's probably some others, humans that I haven't seen yet or not familiar with their names. But these will be matched race bots to their abilities in Pen 3. So it should give some competitive racing for the humans in here. Oh, there goes an attack. Let's see what that looks like up there. Let's go to the front and see what that is. So Evox, that's most likely a bot. I recognize that team. He's doing 389, 394 watts off the front. Often they'll attack, early attacks. They rarely get away. I don't chase them. Once in a while I get one wrong, and it does, and then I always kick myself. But usually you'll follow the first, you'll kind of mark the first ranked bots in that list and track them. So there's another one, Peter. Let's see how fast he's going. He's still doing 320 watts. He's pushing pretty hard, stretching out the field. This is common. There'll be these early attacks. We generally let them go unless there's a couple of them or one of the top bots you recognize gets away and you want to go with. So everybody, Jan and Robert, are back in that 47-person peloton, that third group in the list there. You can see Peter's speed. He's still doing 48, so he's still pushing and gaining ground on the others behind. Let's see. Sometimes these bots won't do good on the climb, so he'll be caught up usually. Now here comes another one coming up. Let's watch him. There goes Surge. He's doing 470 watts. You can see him come into the draft. He just got into Lucian's draft. That's my big number in the top center. That's what I care about most. And he flies right past. Let's see how long he lasts. You got a long flat section along the coast. You can see the wind in the upper right. He's got a bit of a tailwind, 4 kilometers per hour. It's a light wind, quarter tailwind. So he's starting to slow a little bit. You can see his speed is dropping off, but Surge, oh, he just caught Peter. I was watching the wrong one, apologize. He caught his rider head and it looks like he's backing off. So let's go back to the bunch and see what it looks like from the front group. Lindsay Barr, so more attacks. It's very dynamic these days. You kind of let things settle. It'll normally get sorted out on the first climb or two. You want to be in the front bunch if you can about that point, but I generally let these kind of things go, especially with a big group, because coming on a descent with a big group, it can be very fast. So without knowing those bots ahead, I couldn't say I would follow them, but we normally will track, as I said, the top 2 or 3 bots and just mark them, and if they go, we follow. That's how I do it anyway. All right, so the group we're watching is the peloton with 45 riders. Moses at the front. Surge is off the front with a 5-second gap to Peter, and he's got 15 seconds on Lucian and 18 seconds back to the peloton. So it's not a huge gap. Kind of something to keep an eye on, but you can see the speeds. Surge is going 41.6 and about the same pace as the peloton. So peloton's not going to be worried at this point. It'll all get just shattered on that first climb that's coming up. So I've set my HUD up just the way I like it, kind of simplistic, just the things that I use in a race. You can put a lot more data up there if you want, just fill the screen. It could look like a fighter jet HUD if you really wanted to, but I kind of minimize my screen just to what I need actually in the race. All the other stuff I need after, I can always collect through Strava or whatever. Averages and my power meter, dual recording stuff you can get separately later. All right, they're catching up Lucien, looks like. What was this? They do have, Serge does have 19 seconds, so he's holding that gap. I look for that. I'll bet things will get shattered. I doubt Serge will be in front by the end of that second climb. Just let's see if my prediction is right. By the time they get back to the coast after that second bump, I predict it'll be a group of about 5 or 6, but I doubt Serge will be there. We'll see. But this is the way I would race, the way Robert and Jan are, just sitting in the peloton in the early part, attack the hills and really work that, rather than certainly a solo bridge attempt this early rarely kind of pays off. Yeah, there's Robert. Let's keep an eye on him. Good. Yeah, he's in the perfect spots. That's how I would race this one too. Although they are gaining, they are losing slight ground. It's starting to get a little uncomfortable with 21 seconds. Let's see how he does on the climbs. He always hosted the Mountain Goats races in RGT before it went defunct. So I think you can. I'm guessing he likes climbs. He's a good guy. And there's Jan too. Let's check out Jan. Oops, get him. Keeps moving in the pack. There he is. There's Jan. Now he hosts the ECKD, which is a huge squad in different platforms, and including the biggest squad in. Well, he hosted Tuesday and Thursday evening event that's very well attended. There goes an attack or two off the front. So they're starting to bridge up. But we're coming close to the first hill, so we'll stick with Jan and see how he does up the climb. Focus on Jan and Robert since they're the humans that I'm aware of in here. 22 seconds to the front, so they're not gaining, but he's got several out there. If they collected, that could be interesting. There goes another attacker off the front of the pack. Sarah Anderson. That's a bot. All right, here we go. This is a steep climb at first. You can see the degrees in the far right corner, upper right. Steep, and then about halfway up, it lessens. So you push hard, and then you can actually kind of get back in the draft. There's Jan. Yeah, he's attacking this hard. That's good. This is a good move. He'll get up to these other bots and have some company when he tackles the descent. Yeah, see, some of these bots that attack early are really terrible on the climb, so you don't. That's why we don't worry so much about some of them. And he's already closed the gap, halved the gap to Surge just on this climb, so that was a good move. We'll check on Robert in a minute. Robert's in group 5, I see, with 15. So these climbs just shatter the group. That's why we all, the peloton, we all like punchy courses. You really burn your matches on these climbs, just like in real life. So at this point, it's only 3 degrees, the top half. Now he's smart, he's getting into the draft. He's getting 35% drafted. That's good, and he'll go over with another rider. You don't want to go over with a big bunch behind you. When you're towing them, it's easy to get overwhelmed. But so Jan did real well. He halved the gap. Now, if he can catch Surge, will probably do pretty well on the flat between. So now he's in no man's. There he's got a partner. That's the way to do it. So jump on that and follow that rider. He's still in the draft. Collect more draft as they pick up speed. That's good. This is a good spot to be in. So he's got plenty of time to make up ground. He didn't need to do it all there, but he has the gap to the front, which is good. And he's in a good position. So let's do the helicopter view and see if we can see where everybody is. Yeah, you can see the bunches coming up behind him. You can see how it shattered one big peloton into 12, 13 groups. Still in a draft, that's a good place to be. I like to be about 3 or 4 meters behind for optimum draft behind these bots. Looks like he might be waiting for the group behind. That's not a bad strategy either at this point. Yeah, they're coming fast. You can watch it at the speed. There's Robert too. So Robert's coming at 54. Jan's going at. You got to watch it and you got to really push. Otherwise, you can get dropped as they fly through. So I'll hit it. There he goes. He's perfect. Now he'll be in the draft with Robert in the first large group. Lane now 16 seconds behind. So that's a good spot to be in. Another hill to close a bit more, and then they can wait for the velodrome to climb. That's generally what these races do. There'll be these bumps will split the peloton up, but there'll be a lot more bridging up between in the flat areas. You'll see race spots attacking to bridge up to the next group, catch those, or you can do it yourself. If you want to stay ahead and you're in a small group, you have to do work also. That's a pretty fun way to race, actually. Work with the bots to stay ahead of a group closing in on you 10 seconds behind. So it's a lot of fun, actually. I got a bit of a headwind now. It's going to turn into a crosswind. You can see the arrow up in the upper right which direction the wind is. It's a crosswind now. It's not too heavy. And here goes Jan bridging up to Chessa. That's a good move. So you can watch the speed. Now she's faster at the moment than the riders ahead. So that's a good, well, it was like part of that's the wind and the slight slope too. He's pushing ahead. This next climb, you can see the steep red part of the profile. It hits 15 degrees, but it's very short, but they're really a punchy climb. I see a lot of really strong riders hitting 800-900 watts, just hammer that for a few seconds to get up and over this climb. It's not my style, so I struggle with it and have to work harder for longer. Well, not harder than they do, but at my 500 watt level, I have to make it kind of a longer effort than they do. But it's not long. You don't need to be not long enough to be favored by the climbers or anything. It's just punchy riders like it, and heavy riders like the descent. So I can usually make up ground there. See how Robert does up this one. All right, here he goes. Sometimes these bots aren't really that punchy. Sometimes they'll go slow. Other times you'll see them just, depending on their phenotype, how hard they'll go. Yeah, you can see a couple of them going slow and a few of them going really hard up there. Yeah, you can see in the right, the red, how hard they're pushing. Uh-oh, we lost Robert. Oh no. He disappeared. I didn't do that. We lost a couple other riders too. Just saw a couple disappear on that. We're down to 47 riders. I think we lost Robert with a technical or something happened. I wasn't touching the keyboard. I was watching him and then he just disappeared. So fortunately, he might have had a dropout or something. I saw his speed drop and then he went away. So that's unfortunate. But we'll keep an eye on Jan and look how effective that was. He was 16 seconds down before. Now he's catching up and he's in the lead group already. So you can really make up ground these punchy climbs if you tackle them well. So that's why he was smart to sit in, not spend too much energy on the flat, sit in the bunch and choose your moments, which is really what he did here. Now he's using punchy speed to get in a heavy draft up to 90% or so. That's really good. He's into a kind of a headwind, slight headwind. I always sit in there. You can get a 100% draft pretty easily, even a slight headwind, and just sit in because it's really hard on the front. So if you want to attack into a tailwind and use steering to move yourself over, make yourself hard to follow. But he's in the perfect spot. He played it very well, saved energy in the first part, got himself perfect in position in a group of 8 with a 16-second gap to a group of 6 behind. He's sitting right in with Serge and Sarah, who performed well in the first third of the race. So this is a really ideal spot for Jan. Smart racing. Now he has a choice to make. So you can see the group behind. It's a little too close. Sometimes if you have a few more seconds, you can work with the bots he's with, take turns with them, row a gap. That's a lot of fun, actually. And it looks like that's what he's willing to do. He looks like he's doing some work on the front. This is good. But he might be trying just that. He's trying to keep his group of 4 just out of reach. It's close, but if they could pull it off, that's a good thing. A group of 4 or 5 is a good size to be with. It's pretty hard. They're in his draft. In fact, if we look back, yeah, this is the rider coming behind. They're already in his draft. So if you break the draft and can do that, it can work. But it's pretty hard when they're in your draft. You might as well wait for the next opportunity. This isn't a bad place to be. He's in a group with 8. So no, he's in good shape. This is where I'd like to be in this race. This is the ideal spot. So if the group behind you watch the gap behind to 18 seconds. If it starts to close, this would be the time to go back and look. Let's see if we can see them in the helicopter view, how far back they are. You can just see them in the screen in the lower right. And it's a smaller group. It's 6 versus 8. 8 up front, 6 following behind. So there's a good chance you'll kind of gain or be hard to gain. It looks like they're gaining slowly anyway. So there's no particular need at this point to work to stay ahead of the group behind. I would do exactly what he's doing. I would sit and bide my time and wait for the velodrome climb coming up in the middle. That's about a 90-second climb. It's not steep. Most of it's 2 or 3%. I think there's a little stretch at 4, very tiny amount. It's fully draftable, pretty fast, about 90 seconds at race pace. And so you can, you will usually sit in and kind of follow up that too. I've seen some at the finish. If you're have a really strong 1-2 minute power, you can really do some damage. Climb to other riders. There's a couple of riders that do that. I think they're too far back to see. Yeah, they're already gaining. Although I saw someone look like they're pushing a little bit. They're going about the same pace, but they're slowly losing ground. You can't even see them back there, so they're well out of the draft, out of sight. Jan's the perfect spot, really, racing this one smart. Hasn't wasted any energy, gotten the right move. Closed down when you need to, let others waste the energy, and it's raced very patient and smart. So I don't recognize any other humans. There might be some I don't know in this race. So I would drop back and keep an eye on them. I'll watch the list, see if I recognize any names. This is pen 3 out of likely 4 pens. I think most of the riders end up in pen 1, and this race tends to attract really strong riders that show up in pen 1. Pen 2 is also strong. And that has some good racing too. I'm not sure how it picks. I'm using the spectate mode. Most of my teammates were in pen 1 and some in pen 2, I suspect, but it had popped me into pen 3 with no teammates, so I'm not sure how the logic worked. I have to apologize to my teammates. I wasn't able to capture their race. But that's fine. I've never seen a pen 3 race, so this is kind of interesting. And it looks, the race formula, this is exactly how the other pens play out, so which is kind of nice. So whatever level you are, the racing looks very similar. Pen 1, pen 2 will have, there'll be a lot of attacks in pen 1. I noticed some very strong racers that try to break up the field, and there's enough of them that tends to be human racers in a group up front. We've had 15 racers, humans up front in that pen, in this event. Yeah, they're up to 26 seconds, Jan's group. So again, there's no reason. He's doing exactly the right thing. Wait, now his task will be, he'll be starting to think he's safe from the group behind at this point. There could be some attacks and bridges, and it's still close enough they could reach. But he's going to be thinking more about, I've got these other 7 racers. He probably doesn't know what their strengths are. Climbing, there might be some sprinters, bots in here, which are devastatingly strong, very, very difficult to beat. So he'll be thinking about, how do I winnow this group down? And he'll want to go, you don't want to go alone too far out until near the finish. Let's look at the front pot to see what they're. Yeah, he's doing here we go. Now we're entering the velodrome climb, 260. We don't know their weight, so we don't know what their watts per kilogram. That's probably a pretty light rider. Bot. These are all bots except for you. Almost positive. So you can see they're only 1 degree so far. And it'll slowly reach 2, 3, 4, but it's very draftable. You see he's sitting at nice, comfortable draft. So it's not a hard climb. It's a good one to sit in on. I have seen people gapped here. If someone really, really pushes the pace on the front, maybe heavier riders or sprinters can get gapped on this climb. Now I see nobody's coming behind these gaps up to 27 seconds. So I think my guess is this is the winning breakaway. And again, Jan is handling this just right. There's no point in going too far off. If I might go if Serge or Beatrice went off the front. I'd probably follow an attacking rider here just to see how long it would last, or to help maybe drop a couple of the riders. But going solo at this point would be too hard. It's very hard to stay away from the spots for this long on a flat course like this, flat-ish. 29 seconds, the gap now. So there goes Sean. So that's interesting. He's putting in a little bit of effort. He's probably trying to see if he can gap any of the riders, but it looks like the bots are all gonna, now they're gonna follow him. Looks like they're picking up the pace to follow his wheel. And he's got a little bit of a gap. Well done, Jan. Let's see if he can keep that up. Oh, there goes Serge. Now the Serge bot saw that and pushed forward a little bit. Let's see if he's gapped anybody. So it's not a bad thing to try if you've got good legs. It's a good climber, but yeah, you can see it doesn't look like they lost anybody. It's pretty hard to break down these groups except on a real steep climb or the split road, unless one attacks. And we may well see that on the flat after they get to the bottom of the velodrome climb. You might see an attack. You have to be ready for that and to follow it. Now, it was worth a shot. I think he was trying to see if he could trail off a rider or two, which was it's a good thing if you have good legs. It's worth a match to try that. In this case, it didn't work. Bot AI is improving all the time. They are more dynamic now than they used to be, which is good, rather than just static groups that hold gaps. We're seeing a lot more attacks, bridges, which makes it a lot more fun. All right, now we've seen this course before. This is where we started. Now he's plunging back down the hill. It was with a group of 48 riders, something like that last time, and now he's in the front group of 8. So job well done so far. Smart racing, efficient racing, patient racing. Good. And you can see some of the braking around those corners. There's really I've never had success getting a permanent gap. I've spent a lot of energy, but I've never really gapped anybody. Here down closer, you can kind of push out and maybe form a gap. But up here, when there's still braking corners coming, I just haven't found it works, at least for me. Now it's getting some recovery down here. That's smart. He's sitting in full draft, just getting a little bit, saving a little bit of energy. So that Serge is a strong rider. He was out front a lot of the first part of the race on the flat. Now he's back out there, so he's clearly one to follow. I would definitely, he attacks, or definitely stick with him at this point from what I'm seeing. there's a mix of riders and phenotypes. Some are climbers, some are TTs, some are sprinters. The sprinters haven't shown their card yet. We don't know which ones of these might be sprinters. It's possible none of them are, which means they're pretty weak at the end, which is good. Even I can beat them sometimes. I'm not a sprinter. All right, 30. So I think it's 26 seconds. The bottom of the velodrome climb. Now he's built the gap out to 37 seconds. So that's probably enough with this. Only 7.3K left to be safe from strong bots bridging up from behind. There's no long climb, so you don't have to worry about any super climber bots coming from behind. So I think what he needs to do now is just figure out where to attack or be prepared to follow attacks, and how he's going to. I don't know Jan that well. Maybe he's a comfortable sprinter and is perfectly fine sitting in and out sprinting all these guys at the end. Good sprinters are, and that's what they would probably do. I'm not, so I always look for ways to try to split this group on hard attacks or punchy climbs or somewhere to get an edge where you can actually tail off one or two of these riders to take fewer to the finish. At least that's my game, because I just don't have a good sprint. All right, back on the flat roads. This is where, at least in Pen 1, where I usually am, you can expect attacks. They would come here. All of a sudden, you would see a bot just get down on the drops and take off, and you have to just sprint as hard as you can to get in their draft and hold it as long as you can. Sometimes about the time you're about to give up, that's when they give up, and then it establishes a break. So it's dangerous to miss those. But again, particularly I would mark the bots I was interested in. This case, Surge, Sarah would be another one. Go with them. I may not go with some of the others, because often attacks fail by the lower ranked bots, but it's really hard to chase them all. So you have to kind of pick and choose. But he's had a flawless race so far. The gap's up to 42 seconds on the group behind. So it'll be interesting to see what he does on this next climb. He's got a few K left. There might be an attack from this group. Let's see if he covers it, if it happens, and then let's see how he handles the climb. You can push that really hard. You could probably split this group. If you push really hard, a couple would be able to hold your wheel and follow you, so it's probably a good place to actually lead and attack up this climb and go over the top with the first two bots, and then work with them on the descent to build the gap and make sure the following group doesn't get in your draft. That would probably be what I would try. Let's see if there are different ways to do it. Let's see what his plan of attack is. You can even see them got enough of a gap you can't even see them in the screen with the helicopter view. So it's a comfortable gap. I think he's in good shape. He's racing well, sitting at 90% draft. That's a perfect spot to save your energy for that hill and that finish. And the finish, you can see, is up that steep climb we went up at the very top. So if they're sprinter bots, they will go very, very hard. Usually they'll see them, Pen 1, I'll see them 1300 watts sometimes too. So there tends to be more of the sprinter bots in the groups behind this. The TT bots tend to do well to get up into the lead group. So I'm lucky not to have to cope with the sprinter bots that often if you're up in the front. The graphics, the new building structures are new. They're kind of placeholders. IndieVelo was developed with physics in mind first. So it's had minimal graphics, which is fine for me. I think most of the guys that race all the time don't really You're paying attention to that. You're paying attention to the riders and the data. But for free riding and workouts, group rides, a lot of people are saying they want to see more graphics. So there's some placeholder structures and things there for now. So we'll probably see more of that over the next year, I'm sure. All right, we're starting to come to that climb again. See how Jan handles that. That'll be interesting. That's definitely where guys are successful. Hammering up that, going over the top with 2 or 3, and then working with that small group of 2 or 3. Oh, there goes an attack. Let's see what happens here. That surge again, 478 watts. Let's see if anybody's able to go with him. So far, no one's reacting. Jan's sitting in. He's waiting for the climb. I think that's smart, because he saw Surge was pretty slow up the climb. He's still pushing hard. 480 watts, 52 kilometers per hour compared to 40 for the group. So he's gaining. He's got 5 seconds. There, he just slowed down just before the hill. So he sprint hard and then took it easy up the hill. But sometimes the bot tactics, you wonder about them. Now he's going to go slow. So let's watch group coming from behind. Here they come. They're pushing hard. He's slowing down. So maybe the logic there, he knows he's slow, so he pushed ahead so he'd be able to be there at the end. Let's just give him that credit. All right, here comes Jan. All right, as predicted, this is good. So Jan is attacking this hill, hoping to entice some stronger riders to go with him. Lose a couple of those bots. Maybe he's going solo. It's 3K out. It's impressive he can do it. That'd be great. Okay, he's about at the top of the hill. He's got a 5-second gap, still pushing up. Nice watts, 390 watts over the top. It's only 3% up here, so you really feel the speed pick up. All right, they're still going a little faster than him at the moment. 5 seconds. It would have to be a hard ITT to make it to the finish from here without that. But you can see he dropped 2 of the bots, Serge and Sarah, out the back. And they may catch up on this little bit of a flat bit, but it's getting towards the end. 2.7K left. All right, let's see what Jan's plan is. No, he's pushing. He's going to get a good bit of speed down the descent. Probably a little bit of recovery. So it's worth it. He dropped 2 of those bots. That's good. Now he's only got to contend with 4 of them at the finish, assuming they don't catch up. But it's good for him to have speed. That'll help the others coming along. Let's see when they get in his draft. And that 5%, that's not Jan's draft. That's the draft of the guys behind. You actually pick up a little bit of draft, 4% usually, from the guys behind you. We notice it in TTT. And that happened in real life, so that's nicely realistic. They're coming faster. Jan's still pushing pretty hard. He wants to maintain the gap on Serge and Sarah, who are coming. Serge is anyway. Wanted to watch to see when he got into Jan's draft. So Jan slowed down a little bit. Let's see what happens. How close behind Jan they have to be. They're 56 meters behind. Let's see when they start to pick up his draft. You can see Serge coming along. He's only 8 seconds behind this group and going a little bit faster. So Jan is interested in keeping this group as small as he can, just him and these 5 bots. Yep, there you go. He started, well, that was, I think the road did some funny things. Crossroad. He's starting to pick up a little bit of draft now from Jan up front. Serge is still 8 seconds behind and going the same pace, so that's good. Serge won't be picking up draft at this point now, 12, 13%. So now they're in Jan's draft. They'll all come back together. So now what Jan will do is watch the speed of Serge behind, and we'll do some work on the front if need be to keep him off his tail. But now he's going to sit in. Let's watch Jan from here. That's good. Mission accomplished on that hill. He attacked, helped split the group up, and then lost 2 riders. Now he's in a group of 5 and of 6 instead of 8. So now he's going again. He's strong. He feels confident. He's going hard from 1K, so he goes long. That's great. I wish I had that ability. Let's see if he's going to keep it. Now he's got a 2-second gap. 800 meters left. He's going faster than they are. But so far nobody's attacking or sprinting. It's good. I think he's got it. You still have to deal with that climb up front. 600 meters. It's into a headwind. You can feel that. It just feels slower. Nobody attacking behind. Nobody wants to work to catch him behind. That's good. He's in good shape. He's still going faster into a 6-second gap with 500 meters left. Let's see if any of them attack. Sometimes they come incredibly fast. Okay, now they're matching his speed, but he's got 7 seconds, 400 meters left. That's good. Here's what it looks like. Helicopter view. You can see the group behind. Comfortably close, but he's only got 200 meters left, and you've already shown he's strong up a hill. That's what it looks like from behind. There's the group coming. 47, here comes a strong rider coming up. 160 meters. Go, Jan, go, Jan, go, Jan. Go, Jan. I think he's got it. Let's see. Whew. He did that the hard way. Wow. That was impressive. I thought that rider was going to keep up, but he just died on the hill, and Jan had a second win. So Jan is going to take the win. So congratulations, Jan. I don't know if you saw it coming or given up on that one, but that was a scary moment when that rider made up 6 seconds and nothing flat. So let's see if we have some of the sprinter bots coming. Let's watch these guys finish. There's Serge, poor Serge, did all that work. He must be just lumbering up at 300. He must be a real heavy rider. Sarah did work. Poor guy, he did all that work and he's going to finish 7th. But he didn't race as smart as Jan did. Let's see here. Let's watch for some of these sprinter bots coming up, see if we see them. That's only 300. Sometimes you'll see their numbers go, what I'm waiting for is the numbers to go real dark on the right-hand side to see who's going to be flying up this hill. See what Lindsay Barr does. There's one. 400 watts. There's a good hard sprint. Joseph Cooper, 500 watts. Him flying right through the group. These poor guys struggling up that climb. Made up 10 positions right there. These are all bots, but they're all programmed different. So this is probably programmed as a sprinter bot. There's a 600 watt. It's interesting to see these. I'm sure glad I don't have to contend with them at the end. Usually in the front, it's like Jan's group. It were more TT bots that can get out in front and stay ahead. But those sprinter bots are scary. But they're made to challenge the good sprinters on the velodrome and other courses. So, all right, I guess that'll do it. Congratulations, Jan, on your win. Sorry about Robert. It looks like we lost him. Unfortunately, technical or dropout or something. We saw him when he was climbing, his speed dropped, and then he disappeared from the race. So that's unfortunate. It's good to see Robert. Both of them are really good guys. Both do a lot for the community, hosting series and events, put a lot of work into it, and create a lot of great racing for a lot of people. So, all right, that will do it. Let's see. Oh, it won't let me show me the results since I wasn't in the race. But anyway, at least we captured the race, and kind of exciting finish there. Very on, I got a little bit of a good pucker factor there for him. I think at the end, we'll have to see if he comments. All right, thank you.